Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kingdom of Kodiak. I'm Kodiak. With me today, Baron Art. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. Sorry for the delay, folks. There was a switch to Zoom, so I had to learn some new technology. And if anyone knows me, of course, that meant it failed. But Baron Art, without any hesitation, let's get you into the bare necessities. Sorry, Sin. Still, I would like to know how long have you been playing Amcard?
I've been playing Amcard a little over 3 years, though COVID took a year from me, so like 2.5.
Okay. And how long have you been aware of Amcard?
3 years and a week.
The very next week. Got it. Got it.
No, it
See,
really was.
it's the trend that we keep hearing. It's like I heard about it, I did it, and that's just how it worked out. Can you tell us a little bit about the persona of Art?
Okay, so Art is he is the spoiled rich kid of the medieval times that got thrown out on his ass and he's trying to make a name for himself. And unfortunately for him, he's very vengeful and petty and very angry. And so he uses that to try and he wants to become royalty again, but he doesn't want to put in the work to do it. So he just makes everyone else's life miserable in order to try and claw power.
Okay. All right. And that's I love it. Spoiled Rich Kid is a new one for KOK. I'm here for it though. What award or achievement would you say you're most proud of receiving?
So I was a part of I was one of the founders of House Trash Panda, and we did yeah we did facilities at Keep in 2018, and we didn't start off going into it as a household. It was just a group of people. Some of us were friends, some of us not. We worked and apparently did a really good job, and the Kingdom of the Rising Winds actually gave the household that we formed afterwards a Order of the Flame for it.
Oh,
And so
fantastic.
I think that's probably what I'm most proud of, is being a part of that.
Awesome. Yeah, I like that. It's kind of a similar story for the Order of the Ash and our first GOTC event. Volunteered and bam, there's like
There we
that's
are.
cool. Awesome. Art, what's your favorite battle game?
Yeah. Not ring the bell. I can tell you that.
That's not right.
Um, I'm very partial to castle battles. I've had the wonderful opportunity to play in a couple actual castles, but even just rope and plywood, it's my favorite.
Castle. Okay. Is it a uh infiltrate and take, or are you just interested in playing inside of a physical castle and just having like a shatter game or something to that effect?
Either or. I mean, who gets into this type of game and doesn't want to play in an actual castle? So for me, that's like the golden pinnacle of LARPing and Amcard. Like I'm gonna go fight nerds in a castle, right?
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
So I don't really care how I do it, as long as I'm in a castle, I'll be happy.
Okay. All right. And when you're just playing in your castle and having a great time, what class are you going to play? What's your favorite class?
My favorite class is healer. Um, letting people controlling who lives and dies is it's my jam.
All right. And when you're deciding the fate of everyone around you, what weapon combination are you using?
Typically I only use a single short, and a lot of people have run up on me thinking, oh, it's a healer, they're gonna run away, and then they just get stabbed.
Okay. All right. Well, those are the bare necessities. Sorry, Sin. Let's get to the three questions that KOK viewers have asked every week since week one. And we're going to start with Sir Glenn All's question. I'm not saying that you have to answer the first half of it. This may or may not already be a toaster. But Sir Glenn Alth, Sir Glenn Alth has asked or is suspected that he needs a toaster and a soda maker. How do you feel about this?
I feel like I want to get him either a toaster or a soda maker.
Okay. All
Um,
right.
I actually gave a toaster away as a wedding gift very recently, so
Yeah.
it wouldn't
Now,
be the
see,
first one.
Now, because that is a toaster, Kelthrax sent me this toaster. The 2 days after he was on KOK, I received a toaster from Kelthrax to give to Sir Glenulf. But if Mo Toasters showed up to give to Sir Glenulf, I'm okay with it.
Okay, we can make this happen.
All right, fantastic. Stillhat would like to know, because Stillhat needs to know, what's your thoughts on bears?
Bears, I have been in the past described as a bear, so I feel like in my own self-interest, I should say I love bears. I think they're amazing.
It's probably the correct position to hold. I like it. Well, who or what would you say is your favorite bear?
Does a trash panda count? Panda bear?
Oh, yes. All right. Mark down a point for Beatrix. And are bears on the moon?
I feel like if there was any mammal that could get to the moon besides, us, it'd be a bear.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, it seems like a consensus at this point. The KOK viewers agree bears are on the moon. So, although the comments say no, but anyways, what are your thoughts on Dragonspine getting a mobile pool and or jacuzzi?
My thoughts would be I'm going to start visiting Dragonspine. Any kingdom that has a mobile pool where I can go and just belly flop and have a great time. I mean, I am an otter. You can't really see it, but it's there.
Okay, so would you allow bears in the mobile pool and a jacuzzi while you're doing your belly flops?
I think the better question is, can I stop them? And that's a resounding no.
So yes, by proxy. And of course, how do we fund a mobile pool and or jacuzzi?
If we're having bears in it, a petting zoo probably isn't the best way to do it. Let's see. That's a good one. Have you ever considered like bear themed snacks that you could sell at gate?
So far the idea has been we'll make a Dragonspine calendar.
Okay.
And then also a Dragonspine calendar. KOK merch, maybe. I don't know if there'd be enough people buying KOK merch to support Dragonspine's mobile pool habit, but maybe bear-shaped snacks.
Yeah.
All right. Well, those are the 3 questions the KOK viewers have asked every week since week 1. Let's get to your questions. You had a wide variety of questions from a wide variety of people. Let's start with Kato.
All right.
Who, Kato, you're still losing, by the way. But we'll talk about that later. What craft do you think you've specialized in?
I feel like I'm best at, but anything else like creative writing. I like to write short stories. As far as something a little bit more physical, I picked up leatherwork and I'm half kind of good at it now.
Okay, cool. Commissions? Yes, no?
Yes, if they're willing to be patient with my hectic work schedule.
I mean, mundane life first, right? Like that's should be rule 1 of Amtgard. But cool. All right. We're gonna jump right into the pool here. Really in-depth question. Your top 10 favorite Amtgarders and why?
Okay, so I'm gonna answer these in no particular order except for the number 1 slot.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Number 1 is very clearly me. I mean, if it's anyone else, then what's the point of playing Amtgard, right?
Yup. Way to live in that persona. That's
Oh, we're not role playing here?
well, I mean, you can if you want.
I have a lot of really great friends. I'm very gifted to have an Amtgard. Some of them like Countess Phoebe, Amethyst Panther, Dusty or Smiley or Cervantes or whatever he goes by nowadays. Or just, I mean, I was really good friends with his mustache, but that's RIP.
I'll take partial blame for that, by the way.
Right, well, you get partially RIP. You get the R. How's that sound?
There you go.
How many have I named? Like 5?
Yeah, 5 so far.
I'm gonna do five more. Calthrax, he was my very first belt line. He picked me up when I was a month old little amped baby and helped make me who I am today. Um,
Thanks, Kelthrax.
thanks, Calthrax. Morton, and he's in Emerald Hills. He does an amazing job. He actually just basically single-handedly converted our entire kingdom's tax into a 501c7. He does so much work. It's amazing. And then Aiden, it's spelled Aiden. If you want to look him up, it's not spelled that way, but he loves it when you do. So spoiled rich kids can't count. I think that's 10. And I just want to let you know, if you're listening, I love you all. Oh, and Tony and Shroud Star, they're also pretty great.
Okay.
Oh, -2.
Yeah, 12 minus 2 to round it up, converting.
It's not caviar and champagne. I don't want it.
Oh, well. Who needs friends when you got caviar and champagne, right? All right. Well, spoiled rich kid, here we go. What is your most embarrassing Amtgard moment? And what is your proudest Amtgard moment?
Oh man, most embarrassing. So I was a brand new player and thought I was really great. And I ran up on Calthrax, trying to cast a spell on him, and I was playing wizard, and I ended up dropping my sword and it landed at his feet, and that's all I had. And I had fumbled the spell I was trying to cast, and then he was playing assassin. And I was playing druid. He fumbles his stone form spell. He can't get the sword out of his sheath. We're both just falling apart laughing. I'm trying to pick up the sword off the ground. He's trying to fish the sword out of his sheath to kill me. And it was very ungraceful.
Okay. So is that the best or the worst?
Kind of both. It's going to have the worst spot.
Okay.
And then my proudest moment, I think my proudest moment might have been my very first year, like right at the 9-month mark. I was able to get my 6th rose, and that was my goal. Was I wanted to try and get 5 in my first year. And so whenever I got to 6, I was like, I feel like I really busted my butt.
So yeah, you're setting goals for just getting 6 of any order in 1 year.
So when I first started, I wanted to get 5 roses and 5 orders of the warrior in the first year. I ended up getting 3 warriors and 6 roses, and I was pretty content.
Oh, wow. Okay. The bar is very high. Okay. All right. Cato would like to know, to flurb or to not to flurb?
To flurb.
To flurb.
That's why we're here.
So Cato is trying to narrow in some of his questions. Do you think Amtgard's weapons should be more flurby? Has the wacky bets standard made us become stick jocks?
So I was actually really interested in this question. I actually spent some time mulling it over.
Mm-hmm.
So on top of Amtgard, I've also messed around with Dystopia Rising and SCA and a little bit of DAG as well. And so I feel like I have a pretty good idea of like the different styles. And so one thing with flurby weapons is because of the construction, they typically are a little bit heavier, a little bit, they might be flat blades, which flat blades compact the force of a strike. So it seems harder. And one thing I've noticed about Amtgarders in general is they don't like getting hit hard. And it might just be a local thing. I'm pretty brawny myself, and I found that even when I'm really not trying, that people tell me I hit too hard. And so I feel like LARPy weapons, they tend to be heavier. They tend to be, maybe constructed a little, less friendly. And I don't feel like they have as much of a place in quote unquote serious combat.
Okay.
So I guess my short answer is fun weapons in battle games, your buffers and in tournaments.
Okay. All right. That seems fair. Seems fair. I think we can agree that there's got to be a little bit of lean to what you're doing at that moment. Um, where is your favorite place to stab and why? Is it VA Wheeler's back?
So my favorite place to stab is absolutely Shroud Star / VA Wheeler's back because her husband told me to, and who gets that? Hey, can you stab my wife to death? You kind of got it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That seems fair. That seems fair. In other contexts, it might be creepy, but here in Amtgard, that's fair. Okay. Um, so Smiley's here with a question. If you could have anyone make you an armor kit for a class, who would it be and for what class?
I'd probably have Sir Accident make me a warrior kit or a paladin kit, were I to get to the point where I could play paladin.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you're going to go ahead and get 6 awards in 1 year, Paladin's probably an option at some point for you.
I mean, 10 years, something like that. We'll get there.
All right. Stillhead would like to know, what's your favorite reign that you've been part of?
Probably Dusty's reign. I feel like that was probably some of the best role play and in community involvement. So that was my second reign I played in, and I think that was June of 2018 to December.
Okay.
Like I said, there's a lot of involvement. I got to kind of flesh out my character during that time, so I do remember that as like a personal thing. That was whenever art became more than just the 3 letters I could scroll on my sign in.
Okay. No, yeah, I love those reigns, right? Like you're just playing your character, you're playing your character, you're playing your character, and then you get this reign where it's like, wow, I get to deep delve on who I am as a person,
Yep.
like a persona as a person. That's super cool. Great answer. Can't argue with it. So Smiley's back. What is the most interesting Amtgard class that you can come up with? Go.
It's called the Paladin. There's a hyphen after PAL.
Okay.
And and all it is just they don't get armor, they don't get weapons, they're immune to everything, and they just follow people around, just support them. It's a true support class. It's the Paladin.
Okay.
And then of course there's the anti-paladin, where they do the same thing, and so they follow around, just talk massive amounts of mess.
It's just vicious mockery the whole time.
That's it. Just take that D4.
I love it. Okay. A paragraph here. Bear with me. Remember when we both got super pumped about how we keep all of our paper awards and scrolls and such? Why is it so meaningful to have physical awards? How can we support the arts, more with our awards? And bonus point if you somehow include social science terms in your response.
All right. So anybody, I think everybody deep down wants to build a legacy, in some form or another. That's Amtgard and just everywhere in the world. That's why we place so much importance upon building houses and living and buying property, buying vehicles, things like that, because you want to be able to have something that's yours. And so I feel like whenever you're looking back, for me, I have like she mentioned or alluded to, a little binder with all my awards in it, and I keep the 2 scrolls I've been given mounted on my wall. And whenever I look back at what I've been able to accomplish in the last 3 years, I can say here are physical representations of my work. As far as promoting that, the number one thing I feel like, first of all, I feel like any type of title, anything that's not a ladder award, probably should get a scroll. And I also feel like if you're going to commission a scroll, you should probably be ready to pay for it. I don't like when kingdoms lean on their artisans to make scrolls like that and don't reimburse them for their effort. It's not fair to them, and a lot of times it leads to projects getting delayed or just not done. And because, if you ask me to make you a award for free and I have 5 paid things already, I'm gonna finish those 5 paid things. I have money.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I definitely feel like that's the number one thing. Let me just say some social science words real quick. Social Marxism, mask theory, and uh, thaumaturgy. Or no, not thaumaturgy.
Thaumaturgy. Wait a minute.
Where I almost got you that one. Dramaturgy. There we go. That's a real one.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for that. And Stillhead, if you're listening, pay attention to what he said. Stillhead has a question. No, she doesn't. Yes, she does. What do you like to see out of a monarch?
So, a monarch to me, I'm gonna start with the kingdom level, then I can kind of zoom in on the park level. At the kingdom level, at the very first thing is for our kingdom specifically, they're going to be part of the BOD. So they need to be able to go into the BOD and have an idea of the current, legal issues that the BOD might be facing, and be able to give advice on them as for all intents and purposes, the main ambassador from the players. You know, so that's the number one thing, and I say the number one thing strictly because without the financials, without the legal house in order, we can't have a game, if that makes sense. And then second to that would be, providing a welcoming and fun environment for the kingdom and the players. I like to see good role play. I like to see engagement. I like to see them responding to Facebook comments, talking to people, reaching out to people to get things involved.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just relying on your populace to drive your role play is going to come, stuttering to a halt. And, the same thing goes with your events. At the local level, the park baron or park, monarch, they should be the first one greeting new players, the first one to be on the field. They're going to be the one who's going to be making Amtgard happen.
Mm-hmm.
And what a lot of people don't realize is without the local level, we don't have a kingdom level. And in most, I'm just going to say it, your local monarchs are more important than your kingdom monarch. So it's very important that we have those strong leaders in the subgroups.
Okay. All right. I would deep delve with you on the local monarchs being more important, but that's like your opinion, man. Um, Kato would like to know, have you ever taken part in a rain theme as like one of the main proponents of it? And do you have a tip for a successful, integrated, inclusive rain theme?
Um, so I've never been like a main part. I've made my own way in people's rain themes. To my knowledge, I can't remember specifically if I've ever been asked to do anything super fun. I was a cat at a quest once. The number one thing as far as, promoting getting involved, is on a personal level, you have to kind of abandon your sense of who you are in the mundane. You got to kind of commit to it. You can't go into like, I'm going to feel silly if I'm going and role playing, because then that's not going to happen. As far as fostering an open environment for, people to get into it, the first thing is you need people who are going to commit to it and be authentically involved, so that way other people also feel authentically involved.
Sure.
When I went to Dystopia Rising, for instance, for the first time, I was like, I don't know if I can do 24/7 role play, but when everyone else was doing it, I became the guy who was weird by not doing it, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. The buy-in is really important for something like that. Appreciate that. All right. Last question before we get to your second section. What are your thoughts on Amtgard burnout, and how do you think the pandemic influences it?
So, Burnout and Amtgard, it is partially driven by the self and also partially driven by the community. We have people who do so good at specific roles that they become synonymous with that role.
Sure.
Countess Phoebe, for instance, or Amethyst Panther, both of them are, they are the forever PM for their parks or their kingdoms.
Mhm.
If they're not one, they're either probably the other. And whenever you get so steady in that role, eventually you might get to the point where you want to stop and you don't feel like you can. You don't feel like you can either trust somebody else to take in that role or, and do a good job. And that's where a lot of people, they get so strung up where they're like, well, if I don't do it, I can't be sure it'll be done right. And to that, on an individual level, I'd say, you need to let go of the reins. You can't always
Mhm.
have that control. And you gotta let people try and make mistakes and learn. And that's how they grow. And especially whenever people start becoming, master crowns and things like that, your role at that point needs to shift from active participant to a mentor in some cases.
Mhm.
Now, obviously, if there's no one there to do it if you want to. But if there's other people there, you need to help them grow into that role. And I kind of went into like a weird detour on that. But on the individual level, to sum up, get it back on track. Allow yourself to take breaks. Don't feel obligated, because at the end of the day, this is a game.
Mhm.
This is something that you should be doing for fun. And if it's not fun, don't do it. And then at the community level, people's friends need to be good friends and not push them to do things that they probably shouldn't be doing. If you look at your friend, they're burnt out, but you really need that scroll done, find someone else. I don't care
Mhm.
how badly you need that scroll done. Find someone else to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be a good friend.
Yeah. Yeah. Be a good
Yeah.
friend. Yeah. And also, don't feel like you're obligated to continue doing it, even if you hate it, just because you don't think any. This is what you were saying. I'm just reiterating. It's not about me. It's not about me. It's about art. Let's get to the next set of questions. If you could create a letter award in Amp that doesn't exist already, what would it be for, and what would you call it?
So I've actually drafted and deleted this all thing proposal about 7 times now.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for recognition in our game, except in the martial area. We have 2D art, 3D art, dragons, we have owls, we have smiths, we have all these other different ways to recognize different avenues. And then we get to fighting and we have the Order of the Warrior.
Hmm.
I'd like to see something that's like an Order of the Archer or something like that, and then also like an Order of the Magus. Just help give a little bit more representation to people who want to be involved in combat in Amcard without being strictly good at stick. You know,
Okay.
and that's one thing that Amcard bills itself as. We're very inclusive. You cannot have arms and still play Amcard because you can cast spells, things like
Hmm.
that. And then that inclusiveness just kind of stops whenever we get to that specific area of ladder awards.
Hmm. So, would those awards be something that you would consider towards like a ladder for Paragon? Or would
Yeah.
those be awards towards knighthood in a different way?
So I don't know. I mean, I definitely feel like opening up Sword Knight to be, either opening it up or creating something, another path needs to happen. And I know that there's a committee about that in the Circle of Monarchs and everything. I don't want to say yes or no at the moment, just because I haven't really thought about it that much, if I'm
Hmm.
being honest. I know that there needs to be recognition. And I don't think that everything needs to lead to knighthood,
Sure.
because I kind of set that knighthood to be the end all be all when it really isn't.
Hmm. No, and I think if we made ladder awards towards a Paragon instead of the knighthood, then we're giving a little bit more credence to what Paragon could be in our game. Um, it's interesting. It's a good idea to go with. And with that being said, also everyone should go find the Battle Game Survey 2 put out by the awards Inner Kingdom Awards Committee, and give that a read over, because that's an interesting survey with what they're trying to accomplish there. Very interesting survey. Take a look at that. Stillhat would like to know, what is your favorite major Amp Guard event?
Probably a toss up between, it's Castlemania. There's no toss up. It's Castlemania.
The person who loves castles found a way to get castles into the event. All right.
Yeah, like, like play it in a castle. What else do I need to say?
Okay. This was a question that Cato had for previous weeks. I liked it. I want to see how you would answer this. If you could have any structure for an event, circus tent, RV, house tent, what would it be? Please, details.
Oh, that would be a kitchen, like full, no problem. A big kitchen for my site, so that way the feast crats can like do what they need to do. That that's the dream.
The real dream. The joke of LARPs is always that the food is, undercooked or overcooked or just not good. So like the perfect kitchen solves all of, well, it doesn't solve all of it. You need someone that knows how to use a perfect kitchen, but
It's either that or like a Bucky's sized bathroom slash shower. Do you know what Bucky's is?
I don't know.
It's like really, it's a huge gas station that's like a mini mall that has dozens of toilets and showers and stuff like that. And then I want somebody that's like at the beginning of every Amcard day, you have to shower.
Just it's enforced.
Yeah.
Everyone gets one of those little glowing pucks that goes off, and yeah.
Yep. Security crats, like they're just following you around with like a little bucket of water, one way or another.
By hook or by crook, you will be bathed. Okay. um, Sir Smiley had a question. What's your favorite skill that you have learned?
Favorite skill I've learned, probably organizing large amounts, like organizing events. It's very interesting and actually has a lot to do with my personal life. I'm a social worker, and part of that is occasionally organizing groups of people, and being able to do it effectively is very, very helpful.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Favorite thing that you've crafted, and controversially, the most difficult thing that you've crafted.
My favorite thing I've crafted, probably the coronets that I recently made for a couple friends who just got married.
Okay.
It came out very clean. It was the leather ended up a little darker than I wanted, but something that they can take with them forever wherever they go, and remember that they were at least at one point part of the EH. Like, it's very sentimental. It's very nice.
I apologize because I questioned this while I was setting up KOK. The question was for your favorite thing that you had cratted.
Oh, cratted.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No. That's on me. I looked at the word and I'm like, I think that's supposed to be crafted. I'm gonna switch it. So I did. Humble apologies. What's your favorite thing you've cratted and the most difficult?
Most difficult was Keep on the Borderlands, just because it's so big. There's 1,000 people there.
Yeah.
And we drove from Texas to Illinois. That's like a 12, 13-hour drive. And then I spent almost the entire weekend just working. Like, I did like a battle game, and I did half a tournament.
Right. Yeah. That you can't be everywhere at once, right?
Yeah. And then as far as my favorite, that's probably either Gathering of the Clans, and that was probably, I mean, the event was a lot of fun, but I also had some really good company then. It's either that or whenever I created Banner Wars. It was a lot of fun being the autocrat for a IK.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, we did get to the answers of the actual question. So again, apologies. But I also wanted to hear about some crafting stuff. So leave me alone. It's my show. I do what I want. Cato's back. What legends have you heard of the illustrious and sometimes intoxicated House Tankard?
Every time somebody starts telling me stories about House Tankard, I wake up the next day missing my shirt. So I haven't heard. I mean, I don't remember any of them.
That's fair. That's fair. Sir Smiley wants to know what is running Serenity and how can others join?
Running Serenity is like it's some fighting company out of Tal'Dagor. I think it was started by like Younger the Green and like Marlboro Man or something. I don't really know. The one or two times I've gone to a Tal'Dagor event, I can't find them. They keep posting pictures of their campsite, but I don't know where it is.
Okay. All right. One of my favorite questions that's on KOK because I asked it. If you could change any rule in Amtgard right now, one rule, what would it be and why?
Oh man. I mean, this is my opportunity to get rid of Bard. Does that count? Can I just get rid of that whole class?
I mean,
Nah, I'm
so
just kidding. I like Bard.
the
Maybe
fir-
Silver Tongue though.
the first week I asked that question, someone said get rid of Druid, knowing that Druid was my primary class. So, I mean, I feel like it's time for the Bard to be cut, right?
Yeah, let's get rid of Bard.
Okay.
I mean, I have Phase Bolts for Druids.
But if there was another rule, is there anything else that you'd want to change, or is it the Bard?
No, I mean, honestly speaking, I'd probably want to get rid of Fight After Death. It might be an unpopular opinion, but I see a lot of people get hurt with that.
Sure.
Just because people they get really wild. Um, it's either that or I'd actually another unpopular opinion, a maximum length on pole arms. I know that the entirety of that kingdom in the north, either Polaris or the other one, are just they're gonna come beat me up now.
Northreach?
No, it's not Northreach.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
I know that there's some teams out there that really love their 20-foot poles.
Speaking of unpopular opinions, Kato's back. And he has a back shield question, of course. We all know the back shields are silly, but what are your thoughts on making a back shield fragile if it's on your back, similar to a piece of equipment getting hit with a weapon carried in a frog?
I've never heard of a weapon being fragile if it's in a frog or on a holster. What we always did was just treat it as if it wasn't there for the purposes of a wound. So
Okay.
maybe I need to reread the rule book. I mean, I think personally back shields are silly, but yeah, you seem very, very on board for that.
I mean, Kato's asked us a back shield question for like 7 weeks straight now. And no one has been like, yeah, let's do that. Everyone's been like, Kato, bud, like take the knee. It's over. And
yeah,
it just keeps coming back.
I mean, at that point, you're just basically saying, "Can I please have really clunky armor, but that only covers one part of my body?"
Yes.
So just wear a breastplate. Go on with your day. Spin to win.
There you go. So Smiley would like to know. This sounds really important. So a full answer would be great here. When are you going to be my squire?
As soon as he can. So I think now I don't want to sound arrogant, but there's a good couple people who've offered me belts, and I think at this point I just want to get them in a circle. And have you seen Batman: The Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah.
I just want to do tryouts, just break a pool cue and throw between them. It's like y'all figure it out.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Maybe a rap battle that could be good too.
Ooh, let's do some more rap battles. Nikolai showed up in the chat. Just wants to know what you're drinking.
What I'm drinking?
Yep.
Melted tea water.
Melted tea water for the win. Oh, well, and he actually drank it. Well, there it is. Melted tea water. Moving on. Who is your favorite knight and why is it me?
Who asked that?
Sarah Lewis. I'm sorry, Sarah. I don't know your Amtgard name.
Let's say with this Panther.
Oh.
My favorite knight is probably the one that comes just before the day.
Wow. No, I thought I had all the dad jokes, and I was sadly
No, I got
mistaken.
them all day.
All right. Um, Knighthood isn't something that everyone desires for various reasons. What are your thoughts on that? And what would you change to make it something you would personally aspire to?
So whenever I started Amp I was very like, yeah, I want to be a knight, I want to get all these ladder rewards. And currently I'm at 10 crowns and 9 roses. And I have found that the closer I get to what people would consider eligibility for knighthood, the less I want to be a knight.
Mm, okay.
Um, you know, I I feel like there's a it it feels a lot like um beating the game for a lot of people. And the older I get, the more I play, the more I feel like it's more about the journey, not the destination.
Sure.
And I feel like once you become a knight, people's expectations of you change, people's opinions of you change, and not always for the better. Um, if I could change it, I would like to see knighthood not tied to masterhood, which I understand that for the most part, it's not, you don't have to in most Kaporas and rules and everything, but the current culture is masterhood, knighthood, right?
Hmm.
I feel like knighthood isn't about being the best at or a master. I feel like it's being an ambassador. And so if it were not tied to that, that's what I would like to see. And that's where I'd probably want to be a knight because at that point it's less about filling the box tops and more about being someone that, like, if I were to walk onto a field, be like, that's who I want you to go talk to and hang out with.
Hmm. I
And
think
go ahead.
I think that something gets lost in that though is we don't have to live to other people's expectations of what knighthood is, right? Like
Right.
if you are crazy enough to throw a white belt at me, the person I am and was is the person I will maintain being, and
Yeah.
you've already decided that was worthy of knighthood.
Yep.
I'm not going to find a new gear for you because there's a white belt. Like we
Yeah. And it might be just that I'm a little jaded that I've seen a lot of friends and people I respect get a little too invested in becoming who the Night Circle wants them to be rather than who they should be.
yeah. No, stand true, be yourself.
Believe in yourself. Sponsored by Korea.
Yes. And don't allow back shields. Still
No, but
last question before we get to the most serious of questions. We call them the funny ones. Stillhat would like to know what are your future goals for Amtgard and what major goals have you accomplished so far?
major goals, I ran my Kingdoms IK tournament, or not tournament, event, and it was pretty successful. It had, I think, some of the higher numbers that we'd had in recent years. My goal would be, actually, I want to kill that event, and I want to do something better.
Okay.
Um, so in the Emerald Hills, we have what's called Banner Wars, and from what I understand, back in the day, people made banners, and the winners got to keep the banners and take them home and do things like that. But nowadays, it's basically just half-hearted battle gaming, and so if we can't revamp it, I want to see, we might just get rid of it and try something new. And I
Okay.
feel like there's good space for that right now.
Yeah, I mean
Uh,
we're essentially starting Amtgard over at this point, right?
yeah, we have before COVID and after COVID. You
Hmm.
know, year zero.
Yep. It's a perfect time to set a year zero if you're going to do it. Like
Yeah.
everyone stopped for almost a full year, or everyone stopped for a year. Like let's, yeah, I, cool. It would be sad to see Banner Wars go though, but if there was an alternative presented that got everyone really excited, then why not?
Yeah.
What does it hurt? Cool. All right, Art. We've gotten to the toughest questions that ever come on KOK. The label is funny, but they are tricky. So let's get to them. So Smiley, coming with a high heat real quick. What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is light blue. like a powder blue.
Powder blue. Honolulu blue?
Yeah, I can roll with that.
Yeah, Lions fans. Woo! Here we go. Sir Smiley would also like to know when you're going to come visit.
I actually made plans with Liz like yesterday or the day before to come in July.
July's a good time to be making visits. We'll get to hang out. It'll be good.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
find my way there. Smiley, don't leave me out of this little group. I want to be friends. Smiley, be my friend. Please, please be my friend. So Smiley also wanted to know how do you feel about the edict of Ben's living room?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. 7 and no. Um, communicating questions for another player in Emerald Hills. I just want to know why he burned down my house. That's not really a question. I also want to ask what benefits are gained by being a part of the Emerald Hills Illuminati. Do they have dental?
So the reason that I burned down your house was so in the role play we were doing, your wife, who you had me kill, mind controlled me and made me do it, and there's no evidence that proves otherwise. As for the Emerald Hills Illuminati, I want to say definitively that there is no Illuminati. It does not exist. They would definitely not threaten to break my kneecaps if I said anything. If they did have dental, it would probably not be somebody with Parkinson's.
I'm just curious, is the Emerald Hills Illuminati like the Dragonspine Shadow Government where it's or is it actually fun?
No, it's the dragon, probably similar to the first one.
Ah, okay.
Where
Well,
people,
it happens, I
no, it's
guess.
not that.
All right.
Yeah.
We don't have dental either over here in the Shadow Government. I mean, they wouldn't if they did have a group of people, whatever. Still, I would like to know who is your favorite. Oh, I'm sorry. This is not Stillhet, a different Elizabeth. Who is your favorite Phoebe and why is it me?
It's clearly Countess Phoebe because she's awesome. And I love her.
I would have to agree. Awesome. Uh, yes, fact. Now Stillhet would like to nope, Stillhet would like to know. Moving on. This is my favorite part. So one of my favorite questions that I came up with is who would play you in a live action Amtgard movie? Now there's a bunch of questions that came along with that now. So now we get to go farther in depth about this movie. So who would play you?
I've heard I look like Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. That makes sense. I see that. I see that. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Ryan Reynolds. If the movie was made about LARPers, what year would it focus on?
Probably like 1943, like right before World War II.
Okay. All
No,
right.
it'd probably take place in like the 80s, like after right whenever LARPing started kind of coming alive was like whenever you started seeing Frodo lives in the subway tunnels in New York City.
Okay.
I think that'd be a cool time.
All right. So I'm seeing Ryan Reynolds in the early 80s meeting up with his friends for his first time and putting couch mattresses on a broomsticks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
All
think
right.
that's like
If there was another LARPer that would play you, so Ryan Reynolds is willing to do the live action, but we need a stunt double. Who's the LARPer who's doing that for you?
who's being my stunt double?
Yeah.
Oh man. That's a good one. Probably I'm trying to remember their name. I love you. I promise. um Probably Mabtik the Magnificent. I'm sorry, Mabtik the Resplendent because he looks just like me.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
I mean,
So Ryan Reynolds is doing these scenes, and then there's a sword getting swung, and then your stunt double's getting in there, and it's getting hit, and it's seamless, and we can't tell the difference between the three of you
Yeah.
because clearly you all look like Ryan Reynolds. Um, what is the theme song of this
Uh,
Amp Guard movie?
Probably Unicorn Wizard by Ninja Sex Party.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Nice. Good reference. Okay. All right. Um, and then of course, because this is going to be, a really intense movie, we're going to have a narrator, right? Who is the narrator over the story?
Um, well, I can never say her name right. Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Okay. All right. All right. It's a, so Ryan Reynolds and Catherine Zeta-Jones are attached to a 1980s LARP movie
Yep.
that also got Ninja Sex Party to do the soundtrack for.
Yep.
Here for it. Here for it. If anyone could do better, let me know because that sounds fantastic. If you were given the ability to make one trend an instantly popular trend, what would you create? That's a Sir Smiley original.
And are we talking in society at large?
Yeah, that's just well. If you want to do an amp card, I mean, we already talked about everyone having to shower, so
Yeah, that's up there. I'm not gonna lie, I used to be guilty of that too. So I'm sorry, people who suffered through a hug with me. If I could do a trend, I would want to bring back the knee-high leather boots for like just contemporary fashion.
okay.
Like you go watch Lord of the Rings and stuff, you see Aragorn, you're not like he looks cool. I put on knee-high leather boots, I look like, the guy who's about to get thrown off the pirate ship. It's tragic.
Okay. All right. Knee high leather boots is back in style in this Ryan Reynolds movie, I'm sure. So, we're doing all these great
Yeah,
things.
well,
It's
of
just
course.
Ryan Reynolds and knee high boots, and of course the 80s gym shorts.
Oh, of
So,
course.
of course. All right. Kato's back with a question that the answer's already been solved. Who's winning the Grow Back Challenge, Kato or me? It's,
Uh,
it's
you
pretty clearly
like
Kodiak. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
All right, fantastic. But in his actual question, Marvel or DC, and Kato specifies it's Marvel.
It is Marvel.
Okay,
DC storytelling is dumb.
fair enough. I'm
I
not
mean,
gonna argue. Wouldn't argue either way. I
Wonder
get a
Woman's an
lot of
invisible jet.
I would get a lot of flack if I told the entire world that the last superhero movie I saw was Iron Man. Not that I don't like superheroes, but why would I watch them? Um, Morgan, if Morgan has a question, if you could pick any animal, fantasy or otherwise, to grow to the size of a dinosaur, what would it be, and what would you use it for?
Grow to the size of a dinosaur. We talk. Oh, okay. I mean, I love otters, and riding a big like a was a stegosaurus sized otter. Hopefully not with those proportions because that'd be terrifying. I think I'd be down for that, and I
Okay,
would use it to probably escape the government, which would want to kill me and take my otter.
okay, all right. So it kind of had to already exist for it to be a problem for you to use it, but we got there, right? Okay.
Yeah, we got this.
Sir Smiley would like to know what one mythical creature should be real.
Uh, ooh, probably a griffin. Like, just like lions and eagles already exist. Just why not have both? ¿Por qué no los dos?
What he said. Fantastic. Do you believe that aliens exist?
Um, I want to give the universe is so big answer, but I'm just gonna say yeah. I mean, you know, I if I go, I mean, if I go right now to Canada, I'm an alien. So
I mean, yeah, The universe is, or the existence is so big argument is really the one that matters, right? Like,
Right.
we might not be using the term alien, but if
Yeah.
there's an existence outside of our area, it's alien to us, whatever. Sir Smiley would like to know, do parallel universes exist?
Uh, yes. I'm going to say yes, because there has to be a parallel universe where they don't. Right.
Right. Right. Well, and also it would only be in a parallel universe where Kato's winning the beer grow back challenge. Gotcha.
That clearly would be the darkest timeline.
Yes. Yes, it would be. Batman's parents would have been survived, and he would have become Batman, and he would use guns, and it would be the worst. That's why Kato doesn't win the grow back challenge.
Yeah,
Uh,
that'd be the worst.
that would be the worst. Kato would like to know, if you could visit anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Neuschwanstein Castle in Germany. It's the Disney castle. Is it the Disney castle? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the Disney castle.
Cool. Cool. All right. Here comes the more intense questions. What pope declared war on cats?
Gregory the Ninth, I think.
Is it Gregory the Ninth or Gregory the Fourth?
I'm not gonna phone a friend. I'm gonna double down. The ninth.
Okay, I'm gonna do double points for the fourth, Sir Smiley. So if I'm right, I get twice as many points as Kato's ever thought of having. I'm here for it. Whose face appears on the $1 bill?
Salmon. His name is Salmon.
Salmon.
Salmon something something, and he put his own face because he wanted to run for president. I know that one.
Okay. All right. Sir Smiley would like to know, what is closer to Cleopatra's reign in Egypt? The building of the Great Pyramids or landing on the moon?
Landing on the moon.
That's a fact. That's true. I didn't have to look that one up. I was very proud of myself. I'm like, ha, I know that.
I knew that one.
Still at multiple questions here. What's your favorite conspiracy, and what is your favorite Amtgard conspiracy?
So my favorite Amtgard conspiracy is that there's a kingdom in Canada, because Canada doesn't exist. North of America is the South Pole where Santa Claus lives. Thank you. And then my favorite conspiracy in general is probably that what's it called? That Pokemon don't exist. They clearly do. Like, they're just called animals. And honestly, Pokemon is just that's telling of American history, specifically America.
Okay. All right. Admiral Cash, I'm sorry. We had a 3-hour conversation last week, but it didn't happen because you don't exist. Because Canada doesn't exist.
That's so kind of positive.
Man, it would be really creepy if you go back and watch that episode and I was just talking to myself for 3 hours.
Wait,
Wow.
you weren't? I watched that episode.
What is the flight speed of an unladen swallow?
I know this one. It's 10 or 11 meters per second, which translates roughly to 22 to 24 miles an hour.
Okay, but the next question is the more important of the two. Stillhat wants to know, are birds even real?
So the birds work for the bourgeoisie. I can say that absolutely.
Okay. Right.
Birds are cameras.
They're cameras for absolute, yeah. So they're real in the sense that we call them birds, but what we think they're doing is not what they're actually doing.
Yeah, no, they're just spying on you.
Yeah. Keep your eyes on the skies, folks. Eyes on the skies. Sir Smiley's back. What's your favorite candy?
So it differs between sour gummy bears and Reese's peanut butter cups, depending on. I go through cycles, and it's always those two.
That's not a bad cycle to be on. Let me tell you, that sounds like a really good cycle to be on. I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's not what my doctor says.
Well, I'm pretty sure, my doctor would say the same thing, but, why go to them?
I just stopped going, and I stopped
Right.
feeling bad.
Right. I feel great about myself until I see a doctor. So no more doctors.
Yeah.
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop?
I believe it is 1, 2, 3, crunch.
Yes. It is 1, 2, 3. Mr. Smiley's back. What would you do for a Klondike bar?
Go buy one because I'm an adult who makes money.
I feel like someone's pushed you a little bit on that one before, and you're like, no, I got my own money. I don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
You're not my boss.
Exactly. Like,
Okay,
why
okay.
would I can go on my way.
Fair enough. Okay, kiwi on pizza, yay or nay?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the pizza as a concept is so amorphous that you can put anything on it and call it a pizza. So I don't doubt that there's a way to make it good.
Okay. I'm here to try anything new. Morgan would like to know, what's your favorite dish, your favorite food?
Oh man, so there is, it's at a Thai restaurant. The first time I had it, it was called Pad Krapao, and it's essentially a basil garlic chicken with I'm trying to think of what's in it, bamboo and a whole bunch of other just really tasty vegetables. And I've never had it to where it was bad. I've just had it to where it wasn't as amazing as I thought it would be.
Okay. All right. We have the same question asked two different ways. I'm going to go with Morgan's first, and then we'll get your actual answer. If you could meet anyone in history, who would it be and why? Is it Freddie Mercury?
It's Freddie Mercury because he needs to teach me how to hit those high notes.
Okay. The alternate version of this question, because it's new, Morgan's was here first. What famous person would you like to meet?
Just a famous person currently.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my god, I'm getting stage fright. I can't remember his name. I love him so much. Alex Brightman.
Okay. Last question, Art, and then we've got announcements. So you just bear with me after that. Morgan's question. I always got to breathe for this one because it's a doozy. If it takes a chicken and a half, a day and a half to lay an egg and a half, how long would it take a grasshopper with a wooden leg to kick the seed out of a dill pickle?
She sells seashells on the seashore. About much of woodchuck could chuck wood. So 18.
18, Morgan. I think it's closest to the real answer we've gotten so far. 18. Yes. Bernard, thank you so much for coming on today. If you could just bear with me through some announcements and we'll say our goodbyes.
All right.
Dragonspine, Burning Land, last couple weeks before I'm out of office. So that means the RP page is probably going to be done with. So if you still have anything that you want your characters to be putting up, go to the Dragonspine, Burning Lands joint RP page and put that up there. Dragonspine award recommendations end this weekend. Sunday at midnight, we're going to close those. The Monarchy team's going to get together and get the awards set up for Endrain. Dragonspine, Endrain is May 1. We're going to be welcoming in Still Better Day as our new queen. So you should come check that out. Burning Lands is going to have an event next month, May 22nd. I think that's the correct date. Countess Phoebe, you're here if you want to, let them know. You should try to check that out if you can. And yeah, cool. Bernard, thank you so much for coming on today. It was a pleasure. You're hilarious. We should do this more often.
Hey, anytime you want me back, I'll be happy to do an encore.
Absolutely. And if there's anyone else that you, the viewers, have that you want to bring on KOK, just reach out to me and let me know. We're going to keep this thing going until the wheels fall off. I promise. But until next week, this has been Kingdom of Kodiak, and I'm Kodiak.